in the transfer market. Let's have a quick look at this before we decide. Maybe not. We will get that video up, but they have spent a lot of money. Todd Boehly has spent a lot of money since he's come in at Chelsea. The spending looks like it's gone a little bit further with Nkunku coming in. They're also bidding, of course, aren't they, for Enzo Fernandez, who had a great World Cup as well. I'll ask the same question. Madman or genius in the transfer market? I guess time will tell.
Who are we talking about?
Todd Boehly.
Todd Boehly?
Todd. Not Ted.
Todd Boehly. I'm watching too much Ted Lasso, honestly. I'm sorry.
Do you know what? I'm
For you there, innit?
I apologise.
Yeah,
I apologise.
I got you.
Todd Boehly.
I don't know.
No?
No, I don't know.
Complete.
I don't know enough about it to comment. So, yeah, I'm useless.
Complete scattergun, in my opinion. I think you look at the summer, they went from going from Koundé, Rafinha, all their primary targets, essentially, they missed out on. And then they ended up with a bunch of, I feel like, second options, whether that's Koulibaly or Aubameyang. And then now he's kind of seen how the season has gone on. He sacked Tuchel right after giving him all that money to spend, essentially. And then said, okay, now I've got Potter in. I'm going to give this unproven guy a 6-7 year deal. And then on top of that, now I'm on this window, I'm just going to go randomly buying players, essentially, because I've seen Nkunku come in. And I'm like, okay.
Big signing,
I don't know if that was somewhere where they needed. Good signing, though. Who else have they got coming in as well?
Fofana. The striker.
Detro Fofana was another one they made. I mean, this kid's
There's a
in
few
Norway.
as well that have come under
Hot
the radar
prospect, but from what I heard, Brighton were after him. And that seems like a next natural progression step from the Norwegian league. Chelsea now, I can imagine they're probably going to loan him into oblivion like they did with Marco Marin a few years ago. So I don't know what their approach, I don't know what the profile is, I don't know what the ethos at the club is meant to be at the moment. Is it we're building young, we're building, I don't know, a spine. I don't know what it is they're building. It just seems like they're basically, you know, the rich kid at the toy store. Oh, nice. Put it in the trolley. Oh, nice. Put it in the trolley. Oh, he's playing with it.
It doesn't actually plan to play with any of these toys.
They're just picking things up that look nice. And I'm like, prime example of that was Cucurella, 65 million, when you've got Ben Chilwell, who's been arguably your best left back. And then on the other side, you've got Reece James, who's going through the same issues as Chilwell, but you're not signing a replacement on that side. So
Doesn't make sense.
I'm confused by what their whole approach is. So I don't know. I would love a Chelsea fan to tell me, but every Chelsea fan I've spoken to is the same thing. They don't even understand.
I don't think they know,
No, they don't.
The amount of times Matisse and I have spoken about this, it is a scattergun approach because there isn't any thought or strategy behind it. And when you think about how good the academy is there, do they need to be spending all this money, or is it because he's got to come in and he's got to spend, he's got to be that guy that puts money down? I don't know.
I think the one opinion I have got on him is it just shows you his football credentials. When he came into Chelsea, he pitched a 4-4-3 formation to the manager, to Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, and that's 12 players.
Yeah,
just in case.
And like, how would you trust a person like that?
The thing is, it's his ownership style obviously has been to come in, bulldoze your way in, because he cleared out a bunch of staff as well, and he thought basically football is like any American sport where you can come in, throw money at it, throw huge contracts at some star players, and all of a sudden your team turns around or whatever. Football is not like that, my friend. There's cultures, there's ethos, there's history, there's things you have to build from the ground up, and I feel like he's come in a little bit almost a bit cowboyish.
And not only that,
It's so funny. It's so funny you said that. That's literally the word that was in my that was in my head. Like, and not to be like stereotypical, but it's like he's literally a cowboy that just walked into a saloon and he's just waving his gun, shooting everywhere to show that I'm the big man in town. Basically,
I think that's what it is.
I think the difference between
it's not an NBA franchise; it's a football club.
This country and America, there's consequences here. You don't get to where you want to be. You don't reset it all at the end of the season and go, well, let's have a little roundup of the players and see who you can pick now because you come low. No, they're stuck with who they've got. They paid money for them. And if they don't get the Champions League, they're going to feel it. And I said this to Matisse the other day. I'm worried for Chelsea. Well, I'm not that worried.
Yeah, don't be too worried.
In terms of where they've been, they think that there's still this powerhouse. You know, they're talking about Declan Rice going there. And I'm saying, why? They might not be in the Champions League next year. Like, you know, I know it's his hometown club, but they let him go. But Chelsea now isn't the Chelsea that was under Abramovich. They're completely different. Yep. They're going to be completely different club. There's remnants of what was there when Abramovich was there, but eventually that'll be gone.
But that's the thing. What Abramovich had there was he built a culture over 20 years of win now by all costs. Every manager that comes in, I'm going to back you the same way. And I'm not signing young prospects. It was proven stars, top of the shelf every time. Boehly's come in and it's almost like, manager, he's not my guy, get rid of him. Backroom staff, not my guy, get rid of him. Technical directors, Peter Cech, who was like one of the senior execs as well behind the scenes, got rid of him. So for me, it's just a little bit Wild Western.
And I would ask as well.
Even the Enzo Fernandez, if you look at it, this guy signed for Benfica for 15 million.
For James Ward-Prowse, it's a free kick. Can you believe it? It's 30 yards out. He wraps it around the wall, and it's in. Maybe we are talking about the best free kick taker of all time in Premier League history here. He scores an own goal, and then he scores an absolute belter to match it. And that
he's good.
Predictable, isn't it? How good he is. He's what?
He's no Payet.
Oh, right.
He's no Payet.
Payet's from memory, he scored one free kick for West Ham.
How many?
One?
About 6.
About 6?
In a season.
Definitely.
All right, well, this guy scored about 17. So I'm going for James Ward-Prowse.
It's Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, but he was only with us for 1 year.
It's definitely Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, all right.
He's like to the Premier League. What, like, is it Mihailovic that recently passed away was to Serie A? Like, free kicks, it's game over.
He is.
Oh, City.
City look like they...
No, replay. It almost got us to that one.
But going back to the Ted Boehly... Ted.
No, I thought I saw the screen flash there. I thought it was a screen flash.
Isn't it?
Todd Boehly.
It's Todd Boehly.
Yeah,
Chris in the comments saying the jealousy towards Chelsea is mad. Nicky, you're clueless. Stick to your club. Says Nick. Says Chris.
Not. Let me have a little say on your clubs if that's all right.
What's there to be jealous about with Chelsea though? It's a mismanaged club. Yeah. Even Abramovich, he had a strategy, but that strategy is short term. It's not long term.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like everyone was saying is watch. Once Abramovich goes, now Chelsea are gonna crumble. No, we're getting money in. Blah 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 blah. I would even ask, like, are these signings even Graham Potter's? Is he even having a say in them? Yeah. Like, did you consult him about Nkunku? Did you consult him about Fofana? Maybe Fofana, because if Brighton were going to get him, maybe that's a Potter signing. But it's like, it's weird. How are you going to give a manager like Potter, who's going to need the full 6 years of that contract you gave him, you're going to give him that much time, but you're not really going to give him that much influence over the transfers, which it looks like.
But even that Enzo transfer I was saying earlier just smells of desperation. Off the back of a World Cup where he's kind of broken into the Argentina team, because before the World Cup he wasn't even getting selected regularly. He's only
made
13 games.
International debut in September.
Mate, he'd played 13 games this season for Benfica. He's just stepping into his stride essentially. But Chelsea have seen the World Cup, saw him get the medal, and because their situation is so bad and because Boehly's such a cowboy almost, 115 million they're talking about. I'm like, I'm sorry, no matter how good a player is, you've got to put serious work in to be worth that money. Not 6 games. So listen, Enzo could be a good player, could eventually be worth it, but I feel like it just sums up their whole scenario at the moment.
Even Nkunku, like, where are you going to play him? Are you just going to do are you going to do to him what you did to Kai Havertz?
He's another false nine attacking midfielder like Havertz, and I don't know, they're linked with Felix as well potentially, and I'm like, all these false nines are going to get to do what?
He won't fit.
It just doesn't make sense. It just seems like Football Manager. Yeah, you're just there, career mode, you've got unlimited funds, and you're like, who am I buying?
They lost out on a lot of their targets, didn't they, in the summer? Like Koundé and Rafinha, yeah.
But even most of their targets, no offense, but it's like they were like, it didn't even seem like they did the scouting themselves. They were targets that other clubs were going for, and they were just trying to hijack and gazump. It's like, come on. Even I even saw yesterday in Evening Standard that all of a sudden they're interested in Mudryk now as well. It's like, oh, come off it, man. Have you guys really scouted him, or you're just copying what other clubs are doing?
Isn't that what they always used to do?
Not jealous of Chelsea.
John Obi Mikel, when they took Potter, they took everyone around Potter as well. Like, do your own work.
Yeah, sorry, whoever said that. Not jealous of Chelsea. Joke of a
They've
club.
got their sporting director and head of youth development, if I'm not mistaken. And Fofana
Brighton.
was going to Brighton as well, yeah. So it's just basically...
Do you know what? I wish Abramovich was still in charge, because they would have sacked Potter by now and I would have took him at West Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I'm happy Abramovich.
I'm glad
He
Abramovich has gone.
I'm glad.
Finally, Daddy can't get you out of jail.
Yeah, you ain't got your sugar daddy anymore.
Yeah,
to,
now you got a
like,
sugar
now you
daddy
actually
that
have
hates
to,
you.
Now you actually have to run your club like a normal Premier League club. You ain't got Russian money behind you.
LJ Brown super chat. He says, "Guys, just say London Cowboys. Yeehaw." I'm guessing that was meant to be pronounced in an American accent. We've seen a lot of